Again, good afternoon to you, Dominica. The pleasure is mine in the afternoon. And if you're locked in, remember, if it's on the block, we'll talk about it. And this afternoon, we continue to explore a vexing issue in Dominica, the Debwash saga. And we have two professionals with us this afternoon here, two ecologists, local Dominicans, sharing their perspective on this environmental disaster taking place there. On the heels of the wash affecting the flow of the river. Somebody described it that way yesterday. Destruction of the scenic beauty that defines our island's identity and tourism appeal. It's declining in river volume, velocity, and clarity. Sedimentation, siltation, and increased risk of landslides. Aquatic destruction and adverse marine impact, just to name a few. Of course, we hear the call for many Dominicans to halt what's taking place there. In a few minutes, I'll introduce my guests. But we're going to do this and we'll come back to you. We're going to start out with this song. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Oh, no. He makes me lie down in those pastures green. He leads me beside the still and quiet waters. He restores my soul. He restored my soul. He restored my soul. My Lord restored my soul. When my spirit gets weary and my tears won't cease, He whispers in my darkness, child, come find your. He whispers in my darkness, oh, He brings me peace. He whispers in my darkness, He brings me peace. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil at all, 'cause my shepherd's still holding my breath. No fear in the valley. Oh, my shepherd's still holding my breath. Oh, And this afternoon there's two young ecologists from Dominica. He's representing no political group. They're representing Dominica. They love their country. And hence the truth and nothing but the truth. Before my soul, in the presence of my enemies, oh Lord, in the presence of my enemies, oh Lord, surely goodness, surely mercy shall follow me all my days. All my days, hallelujah, all my days, he's been there, in paths of righteousness. Somebody said it right, there's Dominican warriors standing for the Garden of Eden. For his name's sake. When the darkness comes creeping, I ain't afraid no more, 'cause it loves my life, his grace, my open door. His love, my life, his grace, my open door. Psalm 23, Gospel Blues. This one recorded in the 1950s, soul gospel performers. When he's been my healing when I couldn't let go. He's been my comfort when I was down. He's been my healing when I. So let me say a special good afternoon to the panel here. Two young Dominicans qualified as ecologists, speaking the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. I guess it depends on who's listening. You're on your step. So let's say good afternoon to Ms. Janelle Brisbane. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Matt. Good afternoon to everyone listening in.
Good afternoon to Gary August from the Kalinago territory.
Yes. Good afternoon, Matt. Thank you for having us this afternoon.
The pleasure is mine, sir. Janelle, just to start it off, give us a little background on you and your works.
Hi, Matt. Hi to everyone listening again. And again, thank you for having us here. I'm not no stranger to the radio, if anyone has heard me talk before. So I was born and raised in Dominica, which is what inspired me to get into the field of conservation, because how can you look at this island? How can you grow up by the riverside in our forests and not come to love our Mother Nature? Mm-hmm. So I pursued my degrees in conservation ecology. I actually have a minor in environmental law and international studies. I first studied in Florida, then I did my master's in the UK, and now I'm doing a PhD right next door at the Université des Antilles in Guadeloupe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you speak fluent French then?
No, I'm surviving. I'm learning and surviving. Okay. But all my research has always been on conservation efforts in Dominica. So I studied the mountain chicken frog, the iguanas, invasive species, biodiversity-friendly livelihoods, working with communities to build conservation from the ground up. And, I did one of my degrees on the knowledge and attitude of school children here towards wildlife in Dominica, because we all know how we grew up. And that research actually showed that we had a gap, a really critical education gap coming about. And that's what compelled me to come back home and to give back, because if we're not coming back, then who is there to fill those gaps? Who is there to pass on that education? So we came home and founded an organization called Wild Dominique.
Wild Dominic?
Wild Dominique,
Right.
yes, building conservation from the ground up, building conservation from within, not relying on outside resources, but what we can do from within. And then I went on to work with the forestry division for a few years, and now I'm pursuing my studies. So I'm back with the NGO.
How was that?
My studies?
Your time with the forestry?
Good. it definitely, I actually encourage a number of people to work with the public service, because it gives a very good perspective as to how things operate, and what the procedures are to get things done here in Dominica.
It was an eye opener for you? Would you describe that?
Yes, of course. I would describe it like that. I would describe everything we do as eye opening. But I was also there when Auntie Jackie Andre and Mr. Jura. There are a few amazing people who helped me, who really mentored me, right? They're the ones who brought me into this field in the first place. These officers at forestry, and who encouraged me in this space. So I'm eternally grateful for my time there.
Before I move on to, of course, Gary, why the love for ecology?
Why? Well,
it's something strange that a young person would want to pursue that.
A young person wants to play with snakes?
Yeah.
In my friend group, it's actually very common. Well, I guess it was growing up the way I grew up, right? Being in Governor on my mom's family's land by the riverside, camping out, swinging on the vines, fishing in the river, being in the sea, hiking the trails. My parents took us hiking all the time, and I never had a fear of snakes, because my dad picked up a snake and put it in my hand from very young. So those fears were not in me. And I think based on their thought process and what they passed on, it allowed me to be very conscious of the world around us. But also when I was young, troublesome little kid, I sprayed this ant's nest, as we all do. Right. And I was like, get away. And I actually saw the ants come and try and pull out the ants that I had hurt from this area to save them. And I think that has always stayed with me. There's a bigger
impression there.
It creates an impression, there's a bigger picture out there, this is a life. This is a life, and they deserve to be here. They are as Dominican as I am. Who am I to say that they don't deserve to be there? Who am I to say that they don't belong to this land?
Yeah. So Gary, tell us about you.
Hi, Matt. And hello, everybody who's listening. My name is Gary Ogis. I'm from Concord, Kalinago territory, or we like to call it Tuna, because I'm from the hamlet in Kalinago territory, which is known for water. We have so many water tributaries that the Kalinago word for water is Tuna. So I'm from Tuna. A bit of background about me. I grew up in the territory all my life. My dad has been in construction as well as done a lot of lumbering. So when I was a kid, he'd take us to the bush, he'd cut trees, and we would spend our summers carrying lumber sometimes. It'd hit our shoulders and our head, but it was fun. It was interactive. We were muddy, we were messy, and I never had a problem with the forest. And being from Concord and living near that river that we're going to talk about today is quite a blessing, because I would come home from school, play some cricket, get sweaty, jump in the river, come home almost 6, 7 o'clock in the night, and we spend most of our afternoons in the river. And that was a big part of our life, that it was such a sweet recreational spot. During the summers, they would have lots of parties, picnics. People would always visit that river. I'm talking about Basimajo, for those who don't know, with the big rock. And I really enjoyed that, but I think I took it for granted, because I was like, it's just we in Dominica, we have all this, we have 365 rivers. Probably everybody in each corner of Dominica has this experience. But that's not the case. That's not the case in a lot of the islands, because as you can see, with climate change, water is drying up, we're losing our rivers, and it is affecting a lot of people in their daily lives.
Mm-hmm.
I went on to, I really like the natural sciences, but I also wanted to pursue like a prestigious degree, I would say like medicine. So I was doing my bachelor's in biology, and then I did some environmental courses, and I realized, hey, I think I like this more. So then a couple of years like, okay, I'm going to go into environmental science or ecology, and I graduated my bachelor's in biology, and then during my final year of biology, I did a research project with a professor, and she wanted us to monitor one animal for several months, and we would create our own research about it. You could create your own topic, you just had to follow a proper procedure. And I made it, I thought it was really fun. I was studying bullfinches with little seeds, and I was trying to understand their vigilancy in groups. And I had hours and hours of data because I recorded these birds and made huge draft sheets and everything. And then when I submitted it, she was like, Gary, this is a bit over the
hill.
like what we wanted for it. Like you've passed, but like you've gone beyond it. And she's like, you should consider going into research. And so that's what made me want to pursue my master's. I did my master's in conservation biology. So I also did my master's at UWI in Barbados. And for over the past 2-3 years, I've been studying the endemic parts of Dominica. So I came back home to do that. So I'm well familiar with all the mountain ranges in Dominica, to the extent even this valley I've been in a couple of times. So I'm familiar with the area and familiar with all the national park boundaries. And so it was a really eye-opening experience, especially learning from people who are veterans in that field. And I built a strong camaraderie with the people I worked with. And we enjoyed the work. It was awesome. And I was like, yo, okay, I think I want to stay in conservation because, hey, if I get to climb mountains for work and I get all the scenic views, and just being in the rainforest is
an experience.
It is an experience. I mean, we laugh, we fall, we tumble, but we get back up and we're like, yo, we're so lucky to have this. And that's a bit about me. Yeah, that's a bit about me.
and of course, you're saying at this time, and you know, why is it being destroyed? I suspect, you know, and hence your passion about this Dave Wash experience.
Yeah, it is really puzzling what's going on in the Dave Wash, Pigou River, Concord River area, because I live just 5-minute drive away from that location. It was quite strange when we saw it. Initially, I started noticing it in August this year, and we actually thought someone was just building a road to get to their farmland, because that area used to be for agriculture. And so I assumed that the farmer was just getting access road. And I had to travel, and when I came back home, I see there's a lot more going on. There's like big backhoes there now, trucks are moving material. I'm like, what's going on? And then we slowly started to see the Chinese workers started putting up like these signs, the red and blue signs. And we're like, okay, this is going to be a really big project. Why isn't anybody talking about it? And when you start to observe the river, you get into sediment, water's getting dirty, and people of the community have no idea what's going on. And so that's why we're here today. We're here today to talk about what's going on.
All right. So from what you've gathered, what do you think is going on? We'll come back to you, Janelle.
What I got, what's going on, the contractors are looking for materials to build the international airport. But what is concerning is the location. It's above the headway of a major river in this watershed. It's also sandwiched between the river and also the Northern Forest Reserve. And I don't think construction like this should happen within that area, especially because it's above a community, and it's going to cause damage to the community because people depend on that river. It's also going to cause damage to the Northern Forest Reserve, and it's going to cause unrepairable damage. And the fact that the community was not aware of what's going on is a big concern.
Okay. Janelle, tell me about your concerns when you heard about this project.
Yeah, so I mean, like with Gary and like with most people in Dominica, we were not notified about what was happening in this area. But what is really concerning is why this area and what that area is known for. Right there, they have not been able to provide us with any approved documentation, any established documentation to say what they are actually doing in this area. I mean, they've come out in the community meeting after Gary posted the first video. It allowed them to have a community meeting. And said that they wanted to mine this area for stone for the international airport, but there is no approval. There was no MOU presented that would link this site to the international airport or anything like that. But what concerns us is that Deboash is the one site known in Dominica for its copper deposits and the strong linkage to the desire to mine there in the 90s. So why of all the sites in Dominica where you could potentially get aggregate from, why have you selected Deboash? Why have you selected a site that is right next to the headwaters of the main waterway going into our indigenous community? Why have you selected a site where you are taking away our protected lands? Why this area? And that's all we are trying to understand. That's all we want to really get strong answers to. We want the evidence to see what is really happening here. That's our concern. What is really going on?
So no answers just yet from the authorities?
No, there's been a lot of conflicting answers. For example, we heard recently on an interview that they have gone into Deboash because Crapple Hall is no longer
available.
They're not. Yeah, it's not
because
it's not operational because of the injunction and so on. But we actually went to a meeting by the developer this past Sunday night about Crapple Hall, about the draft ESIA that they presented about Crapple Hall, where it was very clearly expressed that Crapple Hall is still in full operation. And actually in that document, they had a section about alternative locations. So the version that we were watching, that they were presenting to us, was drafted in October 2025 after they already 2025, yes. The version 2. They went... So that was a document that they were presenting to us. And so where it says alternative location, there was no
option for any location anywhere in Dominica.
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, so if Crapple Hall doesn't have the material or the capacity, where do you go?
Yeah.
And in that form, there's no mention of Deboash or any other area.
There was no mention of Deboash. And actually the developer, the representative, made it very clear that the two sites that have been proposed for the airport for quarrying are Ansdeme and Crapple Hall. Deboash was not one of them. So why are you in Deboash?
Why this sudden interest in Deboash?
That is what we're trying to ask. What we would like the authorities to be able... I mean, there's two of us here, but they have to understand that so many citizens are concerned, and the quickest way to quiet us down is with the truth. And we would just like for them to be able to have a conversation with us, because even the community, we have been asking and we have been writing for the relevant authorities and the regulatory bodies to meet with the community, to be able to express what is really happening here and to hear our concerns. And to this date, I mean, the Kalinago Council, I think, first publicly did it in September. Yeah. We're now in December, and to this date, these authorities have not been able to address the communities or the concerns of Dominicans.
So you have information that no meeting has been held with the community of Concord,
with the regulatory bodies.
No, not at all. But you created a video. Why? I think I saw an early video. Why did you create that one?
I created 2 videos because what was going on, I was curious, because I was like, if they're not telling us anything, maybe I could research online. Maybe there is some trail or some announcement that we were not aware of, and maybe we're not active in the government space to understand what's going on. And then I got a bus ride, and when we passed through Deboash, a passenger said, "Boy, I think they're digging for copper inside there and gold there." I checked, "What? We're talking about now?" I said, "You don't know that?" I say, when he told me this happened in the 90s during the So the UWP party was in power at the time. I was like, well, I was a baby. I know nothing about that. And so I started digging up and I found a paper, a 2007 paper, talking exactly about that. And they were, these were two economists, and they were looking it over to see if Dominica had a copper mine, would it be beneficial to Dominica? Because we don't have a copper mine today, but they looked at, hey, if it did went on during the 90s, the copper mine would have ended around this time because it's supposed to be a 25-year project. And the government did license 12% of the island to be copper mined. And the place that they looked at for the copper, the epicenter, is in Dewash.
Right there.
It's right there, yeah. So once I started reading about it, and what the economists realized is that their conclusion was that it was not economically beneficial for Dominica to build a copper mine, and that if they did, it would have been more costly, and the environmental cost would be greater than the actual monetary cost. And so we're thankful that the government at the time listened to the conservationists that were rallying behind this, saying that this should not happen, and we should recognize them. A few of them, like Jerry Brisbane, Afe Mate, and I don't really know the rest, but but Mr. Mate was really integral in that movement, and they did bring a stop to it. And so if this did carry out in the 90s, I don't think I would have the childhood that I had, because exactly in my area, I believe that river would have been gone. The Kalinago territory would have been gone. Portions of Margaret would have been gone. We would have significant damage to the Cassius River, as well as the Pega River, as well as the Layu River, because all these areas are connected within that area. Now, today we're seeing a similar thing. They are building a mine within the same epicenter, although it's not as huge as the copper mine project in the 90s. It's still going to affect the Pega River.
What somebody was saying to me just, I think last week, he was pointing out, I think I want to get to that text. He says, Matt, I visited the area and I can tell you there's more than mining going on. Meaning they may be looking for something else. So what would be your comments on that?
I think what he's referring to is that there's more than stone quarrying going on.
Yes.
That,
Yeah.
he believes there is a linkage to the copper and gold pursuits that were being undertaken in the 90s. And I mean, again, this is not information that we're making out about copper and gold. It has been published.
Established.
But even so, in the 60s, the U.S. government had done a pursuit of mineral deposits throughout the Caribbean. So you can go on the U.S. Geological Service's website themselves, or accredited mineral websites, and you would see that the known site for copper in Dominica is Dewash, and they clearly label it as Dewash. There's no ifs, ands, or questions about that.
And we've heard, and just yesterday that yesterday or Friday there was a complete halt of the project.
That, well, he
Yes,
said
it's
specifically
temporary.
a temporary halt on some of the activities. So I mean, we're not really sure what that means. The river did turn brown on Sunday again. Somebody reported movement of people, but not necessarily movement of equipment. So we're waiting to see what, I guess, comes out of this temporary halt, because he did say that he is going to use that time to gather the relevant agencies to I guess, clear up the paperwork on the matter. But I don't see how they can clear up the paperwork on the matter, because the boundaries that they presented at the community meeting as to the extent that they want to go is very much so going into our protected lands. And how are you going to clear up that paperwork? You cannot go into our protected lands. You cannot mine in our protected lands. Our laws strictly forbid that. Actually, I mean, our laws forbid a lot of things that are
That's going on.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't even break ground like that without having approval from physical planning. And we know they don't have approval from physical planning, because in the community meeting, they presented to us their idea of a draft environmental social impact assessment, which is a key document that you have to have approved by physical planning before you can actually get the permit from physical planning. So if physical planning has not approved this document, you have no permission to operate at this site.
Very interesting. So they're doing it and then they're going back to physical planning to get the approval. They sell it
Yes.
already, so the
Yeah.
hustlers already left the stable.
But apparently they claim to the community that they are just in the testing phase, which is why they don't have the permissions as yet. So what they are doing is just testing and setting up the relevant facility or whatever to do their full mining operation, which they said is supposed to start in January of this year.
Were you invited to that meeting, that urgent meeting that took place yesterday?
Yesterday.
Any one of you guys were invited?
No, he said he was going to have that meeting with the government agencies. I don't believe it was open to the public.
Well, don't you think it should have been open?
100%.
100%.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
we also understand that both the Kalinago Council and the Margaret Council were not even invited to
No?
when the Prime Minister visited Debuash. It was all a surprise to everybody within the area. And so even that is a red flag.
All right, Dominic, we're going to come back. We're going to open up the lines for you to, of course, question these professionals here. Somebody says, man, excellent discussion. I applaud these two young Kalinago people. But just, that's everyone. Gets it clear, please. Be mindful that the UW administration did not commence any mining operation, not even prospecting. It was only a proposal. I have a lot more questions, but I'm going to allow this to be an open discussion so we can be interactive with the public here. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Hello?
I want to comment your two guests.
Yes.
I have no questions for them because they are on side. What I would like to make the people of Dominica aware of is that we have our own version of Donald Trump. For want of sounding like a broken record, he has begun beyond his authority, and we must stop him. And if he's breaking the law, we must take him to court for court, Matt, to stop him. Because, and also, if we demonstrate, and he brings his gang, his military gang there, then he's not only breaking the law one way, but he'll also be breaking it another way. People demonstrating to make sure he sticks to the law. Thank you.
He is strong. He makes me whole. He makes me whole.
Gary, what would be the end result if this continues?
The end result?
If this mining continues?
If it continues, based on what they're mining, we're going to see a complete removal of the hillside. It's going to be blasted to smithereens.
You say based on what they're mining, like you're not too sure what is going on.
Yeah, because they claim it's for stone aggregate, but we don't know if that's factual, just based on the historical fact that that area has been a site focused on copper. So if they are going to that area for stones, if you find copper, I don't think you want to leave it there. That's what we're thinking. Because copper is going up in prices due to AI and technology. Copper is such a valuable material right now in the market. But what we're seeing is that the hillside, mountain, whatever you want to call it, is going to be removed, and you're going to remove millions of years of forests because of the topsoil takes centuries to become what it is, and they've already deforested the area. You're going to keep polluting the waterways that enter the village. We're also going to see, with heavy rainfall, or even light rainfall, we've seen recently that the runoff is going to go into the river. We're going to see pollution in the river, such as all these metals and nutrients from the soil are going to enter the water, and they're going to cause damage to the aquatic life because you have microorganisms like bacteria or microalgae, and all of these can bloom by feeding on those nutrients from the soil. And once they bloom, they're going to take in the oxygen from the water, and that oxygen is what the aquatic life, the fish, the crayfish, that's what they use. They use that oxygen, and now you have a bloom of microorganisms, and they're going to slowly kill the river with those microorganisms.
So we might end up losing that river.
Yeah.
We're already losing that river.
Yeah, with just the runoff, we've already observed blooms of bacteria, iron consuming bacteria.
Really?
Iron oxidizing bacteria.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've talked to a specialist who's in microalgae, because we first realized like it looks like algae, but that's not our field. And he consulted us and he's like, no, that's actually bacteria.
Hello on the telephone.
Yeah, Matt, good afternoon to you and good afternoon to your guest.
Good afternoon.
Matt, I really want to thank Janelle and Gary for the work that they've been doing in our community. I personally have benefited significantly from presentations that I've attended where they presented that to give me a very clear understanding of what we are facing. I like to hear Gary's perspective, especially when he indicates we are unsure, we do not know what is being mined there, Matt. We have to also take into consideration the significance of gold and copper on the international market, and as particularly copper as far as electronics and so it's concerned. And China, their move to get as much as materials as possible, natural resources to facilitate their technological movement. So those are serious concerns to us, because you asked the question a while ago, what next if they continue, and Gary is trying to give us giving us an idea as to the environmental impact, that will be how the area will be affected. But we also have to look at the potential economic impact, where a country has natural resources that can be used for the development of the country, and especially the area in the country from which those natural resources are extracted. And we may be in a position whereby, if in fact they're doing copper and gold mining in that area, which I believe that they are doing, knowing the Chinese, and based on what Gary has said with respect to the area, Gary and Janelle mentioned with respect to the area being identified as the area in Dominica where you can find gold and copper, materials stealthy. Don't you expect the Chinese, to be interested in that, to carry out their own mining to see how much of it that they can extract to their benefit, Matt? So the people of Dominica need to be aware of that, because those copper and gold is natural resources belonging to the people of Dominica, and the people of Dominica should be benefiting from it. We cannot allow our country to go down in a situation like we did with the passports, where the passports are our property, but we have foreigners and other people benefiting from the passport, from the billions, instead of our own citizens. So I thank Gary and Janelle for that awareness and that education, and I appeal to the people of Dominica to open your eyes, to wake up, and if necessary, let us stop that project, because as we indicated, there was an alternative site to take aggregate for the international airport. Somehow, after Clarence Christian informed the Dominicans that they had to go to China to find out where in Dominica is the best quarry site, then they ended up at Dave Wash. And we have been reminded of the copper and gold potential of that area. So we need to open our eyes, and we need to make sure that we take steps as a community, as a people, to ensure that the government does the right thing in that instance. Thanks a lot, Matt.
Thank you, Brian. Somebody says, Matt, please. I think I made a reference to that earlier. Someone who visited the area saw a very sophisticated operation and described a machine that separates the water from the other materials and then shakes and sorts out the material. He was quite impressed. Have they already found copper? Is it too early to say whether copper is there?
Well, we know copper is there because, again, in the 60s, they did do borehole studies in that site. And the copper deposits that they found in the site were of significant enough value for an international mining company to come to Dominica in the 90s and want to mine Dominica. So they didn't just come, out of thin air. They came because the findings in that area showed that there were significant enough concentrations of copper to make it a mining operation.
I also heard, and of course, a lot of people have spoken about this. There are other sites on the West Coast that they could get the stones they're looking for, but they describe it as being very expensive. How did you defend that?
Uh, yes, that was one of the things that we were told at these meetings that they had in the community was that it's cost effective. Dewash is cost effective for the international airport project because it's in close proximity to Wesley, and it's also in close proximity to the road, so they don't have to build a huge scale operation. You just get to the main road, you already have the material, and ship it to Wesley. But we're like, we already have quarries operating on the West Coast, but they are claiming that the type of aggregate that they want
Really?
is in Dewash, and that's where they can find it.
But what is
Really?
interesting, what is interesting about Debash as well. So the meeting on Sunday when we were talking about Crapo Hall, and when we raised our concerns that Debash was not included in that document as an alternative site or even proposed initially for the airport site, why was this the case? Why were they not originally considered in Debash? And they made it very clear that Debash was costly because every extra kilometer you have to go. So, like, because Debash is further than Crapo Hall, they said that Debash at the time was seen as a costly venture because of the distance that you would have to go. So we're like, but y'all are talking about cost effectiveness on one end, but at the same time, you're saying that in your initial scope and even now it seems like a costly venture. They also said, because I mean, our quarries on the West Coast have been well tested
Oh, yes.
for the strength of the material and everything. So when we asked about that, they told us quite plainly, the representative for the developer, that you cannot expect a project of this size to outsource material, that we have to source, the project has to source it themselves. And so they set up their own quarry to do so.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break, Dominica. Of course, feel free to give us a call. Mother Earth is crying.
Oh, yeah. In the beginning, by the sixth day morning, the whole creation was given birth. And then God made man and give him dominion over every living creature on the earth. Tragedy in the garden, we all know it happened. Shamefully banished from Eden. We witnessed the paradise lost. And his mother who ended up paying the cost. That's what people, Mother Earth is crying. He said there's nothing people do. Mother Earth is dying. Because there's nothing people do. And priorities rearranged. We got to become more competent. The way we protect the environment and fight for all that is good. Fight to save Mother Earth. Mother Earth crying. In case you don't know, the planet is dying slow. What a savage oh.
The planet Earth is dying slow. Let's go back to the telephones. I know calling. Hello, talk to me. Yes.
Yes, Matt, I want to congratulate the two young professionals
Yes, thank you.
who are brave enough to give that information and to share that information.
Are you still there? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, I'm saying go ahead. We're listening to you.
I'm saying that I would like to congratulate the two young professionals who have put themselves out and do a lot of research with respect to what is being done at Debash. I think the authorities really need to sit with them since they have scientific data and compare notes. Because at the end of the day, any conservation, any activity like this is going to affect our small island state, which is small and discreet. And the effects are going to be enormous, not just for people in Desbois, but for Dominica as a whole. And I think it's important that the authorities meet with them and compare notes so that we can get the best out of everything.
Right, caller, thank you very much. Are you willing to meet with government to, of course, compare notes as this caller is of another environmental professional? Are you willing to share notes with them?
Matt, of course, I used to work in government. So,
Yeah.
of course, I mean, I still consider a number of people in the various agencies as my good colleagues. So, of course, we would absolutely love for it. But I don't think it should just be us. I think it should be a wider community meeting. Whether they meet in various communities at different times, do like village council meetings or town hall meetings in different parts of Dominica. But I think a lot of people from across the island are concerned. We have collected our own set of evidence, but it's not just the two of us. There are a lot of people who are behind this, who are concerned, who want to hear from them, who want to receive the information that they have, who are technically sound and would also like to contribute to this comparison of notes and to this discussion. So I think we should, at long last, have this open forum meeting that we have been asking for.
No, but I note, I underline the fact that you said you worked with government, and
Yeah.
maybe I'm putting you in a position right now, but I'm going to ask the question all the same. Do you think that the authorities, meaning forestry officials that you've worked with, are brave enough to speak the truth to the officials concerned?
I hope they would be. I mean, I cannot speak on behalf of anybody who is not myself, but I hope they would be. I know there are some excellent foresters inside there who are very concerned about what is happening, who know those forests like the back of their hand, who have been there since they were young kids, interning at forestry through college or high school or so on, who have come up through the forest, and I know they would not want to see that the very reserve that they fought to create
So why
take away.
don't they speak out? That's the question. Why don't they speak out if they know the truth and they've been very silent?
But
Some of them.
perhaps they have, just not out in the open to us. But perhaps they have been trying on their end to be able to get the necessary steps taken or work done.
All right, let's take another phone call. Are you there? Yes.
Yes, Matt, good afternoon
Good afternoon to you, sir.
to you and your guests.
Yeah.
Let me say that Mr. Ogis and Ms. Brisbane comes across as a breath of fresh air. And I really want to compliment them because they give a glimmer of hope to us in Dominica, those of us who have been sounding the alarm, who have been seen as enemy of the state for speaking for the environment. There are those who accuse us of loving rivers and loving trees more than human beings, which is far removed from the truth. And so the fact that there are young professionals who have understood that professional training is to be used for the benefit of your community, I hope that they coming out and speaking professionally about the matter will stimulate and ignite a new movement among our many professionals who are trained and has the knowledge of best practice, but yet still they cower and they stand aside and sometimes even go against their own professional training. So I want to thank them. Let me also say that the fact about copper being in that area is true. I remember a gentleman from the Marigot area, he used to farm in the Captain Bruce, Mr. Walter Williams, who was a trained man. And in a conversation with him many years ago, I recall him telling me that studies were done in that area and they found deposits of copper in that area. So they are very, very correct as far as that is concerned. So let me say that the concerns of the two guests and the many others are not only for them, but it is for all of us. And let us all understand that Dominica belongs to us and not the few people who are given the responsibility to govern. There are laws that give power to the planning department, the forestry, and alike. And if they are not using our laws to our benefit, then we must stand up and tell them they need to take a new course of direction or stop being responsible for the governance of our country. We have laws to guide and to govern us, and if you are going against those laws, then we need to get you out of the way. Thank you, and to these young professionals again, keep up the good work. I'm very, very proud of you, and I'm very hopeful.
Thank you. And of course, you have heard that a lot of compliments coming your way. But it appears, Janelle, and I'm sure Gary knows it as well, that when professionals like yourselves speak out, they are actually somewhat, some of them are fearful that they kind of victimized. But you stand and you speak the truth. Why?
Matt, Gary and I have already faced our fair share of
Really?
victimization. So, I mean, at this point, to be very honest with you, we're not afraid. The truth has to
Be told.
the truth has to be told. And I mean, this soil raised us. The communities around us created us. We went to get our education. We deserve it to this very soil that grew us to come back home with our education and to the best of our ability give back to this very land. And we are not going to hold back our voices out of
A
fear.
cower.
No, we're not. And I mean, we have a lot of support behind us as well. We're not afraid. We kind of joke about it all the time, but I mean, this is what it has to be. Everybody, the only thing you have to do in life is die, and I'm very comfortable with that fact. So if that is my fate, so be it. If they want to come and arrest me, so be it. I mean, they would be wrong, I think, to do so, because
Yes.
they would create a movement that probably would not be able to stop if they come for us.
Yes.
But we're not afraid. We are armed with knowledge, and I think knowledge is one of the greatest powers that you can have. And knowledge does not deserve to be withheld and kept inside. It deserves to be shared. And I mean, we are here today because people took the time to educate us. And we would like to pass that message along and be able to educate others.
Gary, no sense of fear then?
No. Given Dominica's history, back to pre-colonial times, this land belonged to the Kalinaga people. I'm from the Kalinaga people, and I do appreciate my culture and respect my ancestors. They defended this land for centuries from colonial power. Dominica was the last island to be colonized, and that just shows their resistance, their strength, and their courage to do that. And I don't think we should be fearful for that if these are the people that has made Dominica what it is today. And so we're okay with it. We both have gotten our education. We know what's right, and we've read the laws, and we could clearly see there is a violation in what's going on.
Yeah.
So
So you won't stop. You won't stop until the truth is told.
until the truth is told, until the mining stops.
Hello, talk to me, yes?
Yes, Matt. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Yes.
And to your guests in studios.
Yes, sir.
Matt, I'm really heartened by the fact that we have two professionals from Dominica talking on that about that project and why we should not. It's really heartening to the point I want to cry, Matt. And Matt, I would like you to play this song. Leave It We Do Not Mind Here by Third Eye from in the 90s when the UWP was going to use them to deal for copper.
What's the name of the song?
I think that's,
What's the name of that song?
We Don't Mind Here from Third Eye.
Okay, we'll try to find that one. Yes, go ahead.
That's
Yes.
more appropriate song for the time.
Okay, I'll try to find that one. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Yes?
Matt, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. to you.
Knowledge is power, wisdom is force. Very intelligent, well spoken to young people. I love to hear that. I could listen to them all day, especially with Mr. Radio personality. Thank you. Good afternoon.
All right, good afternoon to you. A lot of phone calls are coming at this time. Of course, showing praises on these two young professionals giving knowledge. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Good afternoon to you, Matt.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
And good afternoon to these two young professionals. listening to the young lady, I want to say there is hope because she said she was working with government, and these things that have been happening, there is no approval. And she said she's confident that there are people in there working that will not agree with the madness. So I think, Matt, when I listen keenly. What I'm looking at now, the reason why they don't have these approved documents is because there are people that are against that thing. One thing that I'm afraid of with the meeting they had, that those people who are not in agreement with them, I'm afraid that they are not in the meetings. We have to watch that. Are you catching the drift, Mark?
I'm following you. Yes, go ahead.
Right. And so you have to watch again. The Prime Minister, I listened keenly when I listened to him. He was saying one time that you should not stop that project to prevent another project from taking place. And again, he said, he hoped that history will not be kind to those who oppose it. Remember what he said, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
But to me, what they are actually saying, that short halt is not no halt, it's just a trick. And therefore, the way he spoke in the past is that like it's a done deal. So if Dominicans do not stand and say no, the Kalinago people do not stand and say no, Matt, they're going right through that thing. Thank you, Matt.
I think I want to remind you, and of course, Janelle and of Gary, that what the Prime Minister said just a few days ago, a few weeks.
The airport project is going satisfactorily. We're now doing the works on the terminal building and all the other facilities, amenities on site. So work is progressing satisfactorily. Obviously, one of the appreciate that a significant amount of aggregate and sand will be required for the international airport. The aggregate, the stores must have a particular density, because having this huge planes landing every day on this plane on the runway, you need to have good density with regards to the rocks. Now, I believe that the government has a duty and obligation to pay attention to the concerns that have been raised by the residents and other interest groups with regards to the operations. We are not dismissing the concerns. I think looking at some of the concerns that they have, and also, of course, the scientific data, some of them are misplaced. Some of them are lacking any facts. But that notwithstanding, I believe that we need to have an opportunity to hear from them and to take them on site. And so I will hopefully early next week we'll invite some of the interest groups to come on site so they could look at the operation and to give us their opinions on how they believe whatever challenges they have identified could be mitigated. I mean, no matter what you do, Gavin, there will be an impact on the environment. It is what you do to mitigate against it, against the impact that will be important. You build a house, you're going to impact the environment. You build a retaining wall, you're going to impact the environment. But there's something that you can do to mitigate against whatever impact on the environment. So it's a matter of ensuring that the environment can be protected, but at the same time the airport can be built. I don't think that we have the luxury in Dominica to choose one over the other. I think we need to ensure that both can coexist, and that we address the issues that people are raising from time to time. My only caution to some is that we must not use that as a means to stymie the project or to stop the project, because I think history would not be kind to those who are attempting to do so. But I believe that there are people among who have genuine legitimate concerns based on their love and respect for the environment, and I think that we will certainly continue listening, and I will personally lead the government's engagement with the people sometime early next week.
All right, so I underlined 2 points that the Prime Minister made. He said that some of your viewpoints, maybe not speaking specifically to you, are misplaced. Can you point to some of this? You are the professional, and not the Prime Minister. He's not an environmentalist or anything like that. He said you guys, your viewpoints have been misplaced. Can you break that down for me a little bit? You think anything you said have been wrong there?
I don't think anything that we've publicly said about has been wrong. And I feel like if it is wrong and we are wrong, we are open for correction. If they want to correct us, they could show us the information, show us the maps, show us the layouts. Because even at the meetings that they had in Concord, I don't know the engineer personally because he's the one representing the contractor. And during his presentation, he showed a map of Dominica. I was like, okay, it's a map of Dominica, but then he was like, this is where our national parks and our forest reserves are.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's not the map. That's not
Oh,
the
so you didn't know the
map.
map?
Yeah, the map was
What
incorrect.
The map was very incorrect.
There's incorrect borders for the national parks. And
So you didn't even understand that map that he was showing?
Yes, and then he even said he got consultation from a senior forestry officer and from planning as well. And I was like, okay, what did they tell you? And he told me, firstly, he said that the core site or the mine site is in close proximity to the Central Forest Reserve, which is incorrect. It's more closely to the Northern Forest Reserve. And we had to show him the actual map. And
He was not even aware as a consultant for the project.
Exactly. So then right there in the meeting, the first 5 minutes, we're like, okay, this is what is going on.
Conflict of interest there.
There is a conflict of interest. But
Yeah, I'm just, to be very honest with you, I'm just very happy that they acknowledge that what we're doing is science. Like, let's just start there. They called it science.
Because the Prime Minister also indicated there, just another line, he said you guys are trying to stop the project. Are you for the international airport?
We never tried to stop the project. Let's make that very clear. In anything that we've ever engaged with or any message that we've ever put out has nothing to do with the airport. It has been specifically focusing on Dayboash and the mining operation and the concern over the mining operations in Dayboash. They are the ones who expressed the linkage to the international airport. And we also want to make it very clear that if any individual political party, agency, private sector person, or just anybody had come here to do this, we would be expressing our concerns the same way. Another government comes to do this, we will be right here with you, Matt, expressing our same concerns. We are scientists, we are ecologists, but more importantly, we are Dominicans, and we deserve to be able to share our concerns and to have our concerns answered and to be able to use our education to address these concerns. We are also very much so in support of development. I mean, for millennia, civilizations from around the world have been developing. We are youth here who are very grateful for the ability to sit here. You know how our spaces have developed, and we can sit here with you and reach our diaspora audience and people from around the world because of development.
Right.
We're very much so in support of it. But development should not come at the cost of the health and well-being of the very people
That's
that you
fundamental.
seek to develop for. That is not progress, that is regress. And so that we do not support. That kind of development is what has gotten us into this climate change mess in the first place. That kind of development is what is making our hurricanes stronger and making us more fearful of the very environment around us. That is reducing our ability to eat from this very land or from the ocean. That kind of development is scary. And that's not what we want.
All right, somebody says, man, I'm listening to the program and I'm so pleased and moved listening to these two Dominican professionals. Oh my, this is such a breath of fresh air. It's making me so emotional. I'm not even sure I have the strength to call. My prayers and blessings go out to these people in Dominica. Thank you, Matt, for bringing them on the program today. 449-3095. So you have a lot of commendations out there. A lot of people are complimentary of your move to talk to me this afternoon. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon.
And how are you?
Good
Good afternoon to your guest in the studio.
Good afternoon to you, yes.
Yeah. Matt, I feel so proud to be a Dominican listening to these two young professionals in the studio. And the fact that they got trained and they're back informing and guiding the population of Dominica to the importance of the natural environment and the threat of what's taking place in Dominica, particularly the Dayboash area. Let me encourage them to do that. Let me encourage other young people out there to take a leaf from them. Dominica is for them, their future, for us now, but also for their children coming forward. Please continue doing the work. Do not be afraid of victimization. It will happen. But just keep your head high because you guys are doing a fantastic job. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you again. More telephone calls. They're all, every second the telephone calls go off there. Yeah, hello, talk to me, yes? Caller, are you there? Not connected. Let's take another phone call. Are you there, caller?
Yes, Matt, I'm sorry for calling your program a second time. It was important that I make that point.
Okay.
Matt, all of the consultations that you've been hearing about so far, it's consultations that the community and individuals have been having with one man, Isaiah Benoit, who is supposed to be the one representing MNCD and the Chinese company, Matt. To date, Matt, we have heard nothing from our paid representatives, like the Minister of the Environment, the people of the Planning Division, the Agricultural Division, and so on, the Forestry Division. None of these people have made themselves available for us to question them to find out what is happening. Matt, and what is even more telling amidst all of this document, the ESIA, the document which is supposed to be completed before the project starts, so that you could have an idea as to how the project is going to be implemented, the economic impact, and the mitigating measures, which are very important, Matt. We found out from this gentleman in the consultation that this document is not a complete document, it's actually a work in progress, Matt, but the project has already started. So that is why at the meeting at the last consultation on Sunday in Marigot, just close to the ending of the meeting, we informed Mr. Isaiah Benoit that he tried his best for us in terms of making a representation on behalf of the companies who pay him. We do not want to hear from him anymore because our understanding is that when you complete the ESIA document, you hand it to the officials. And then the officials now come to the public because that's what they're paid for. And they present the ESIA to the public together with the people who probably prepared the ESIA. And then we take questions and they address our concerns. But to date, Matt, only Isaiah Benoit, we have been meeting at those consultations and we are fed up with that. Right now, we want to meet with the same people that Mr. Skerritt said that he was assembling to have this special meeting with them. That same group of people, they need now to consult with the people of the Kalinago territory and the people of the Concord and Marigot.
Let me ask you a question. Of course, that meeting was held there on Monday with all the stakeholders, and the Prime Minister said, any representative of Marigot was at that meeting?
Yeah, the Parrot of Marigot was invited to the meeting, Matt, by the Prime Minister, Matt, and I hope Janelle mentioned something with respect to the absence of the Kalinago Council or the Marigot Village Council from that particular meeting, Matt. And that is very significant, Matt, since these are the two main bodies that have been making representation on behalf of the communities in that regard. Kozia Frederick, the Parrot and Minister of Environment, indicated a few days ago, just before that meeting, that he didn't know anything about that project. Just so you could see that those Parrots, Matt, they got involved after Mr. Skerritt instructed them to get involved. They were not involved before. You know, like, for example, before we had Senator Delbert Paris attending the consultations and hearing his views and so on. But we have not been seeing that from the other Parrots. It's only when, after Mr. Skerritt instructed them to get involved, then is when they got involved. But we expect them to continue making representation through the Village Council and the Kalinago Council, Matt. Thanks a lot for the opportunity, my brother.
Thank you. Let's listen to Mr. Kozia Frederick there when he went to that site sometime last week and made representation there. This is what he said for the first time I've heard him.
We're excited to have the engagement of the developer and the contractor in putting some of the issues that the public have at rest and ensuring that everyone understand the context in which we are operating here at the Stonefield area. This area is earmarked as an area for quarrying, for extraction of material, one of the better qualified areas, and so we're encouraging everyone to understand that as part of the process in our development, we have to do some of those investments, and also extraction material is an important piece. But also we're very mindful that there are concerns about impact on the environment, there are concerns about excavations, and we want to tell the public that we do our best here to ensure that we do it within the ambits of the law and that everyone is guided. we have a smooth process moving forward. So in the following next week, we will have meeting of all of the relevant government departments again to put some clarity to the way forward. But at the end, we want to ensure that this continues, and we could have positive progress in ensuring that the project that we're highlighting, which is the international airport, can continue to grow, and we can see development in our own time.
Interesting there, coming from Mr. Costa Frederick. Have you had a discussion one-on-one with Mr.?
Yes, I'd like to add on what the caller was saying about the Minister of Environment didn't know anything, or the PARPs don't know anything else going on. At the first, there's been 2 meetings with the engineer, Josiah Benoit, with the villagers of Concord, and I was at both of them. And so during the first meeting, we realized it's only him that's there, and he can't answer all the questions that the community has for him. And so we're like, okay, if you can't answer these questions and you keep referring to these other stakeholders, like he's like, oh, he can answer that because forestry needs to answer that. He can't answer that because planning needs to answer that. Okay, if you can't answer that,
bring them here.
Can these people come to the next meeting? He's like, yes, I promise they'll come to the next meeting. They'll be there. Second meeting, it's only him. And so I remember somebody stood up and said, where's the Minister of Environment in this? This is clearly affecting the environment. And he said, well, the Minister of Environment has no dealings with this project because this is a project straight from the office of the Prime Minister. So that's your answer to what's going on.
Have you hold on, Giselle. Have you had a one-on-one? I mean, you seem to be the person seem most interested from the territory.
Yes, I did have a short conversation with Mr. Frederick, and he did explain that he's going to try to find out what's going on because his ministry was not.
So he's not aware of this as environmental minister.
He's investigating what's going on.
This was about 2 or 3 weeks ago that Gary had a one-on-one conversation with the minister. Well, it wasn't one-on-one; it was actually a group conversation. So there were others present for this conversation.
And he's not aware. That's the Prime Minister's project.
As far as we know, it's from the office of the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Oh boy, 218. Hello, talk to me. Yes.
Yes. Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Okay, I just want to say good afternoon to the people on your program.
Good afternoon.
Environment is.
Yes.
I'm from the area of the Marigot, and this area is one of the best areas for ecotourism, sightseeing, and venture because you have a lot of sites. I think you have a pool across. I think they name it as one of the former chiefs across the river. I do invest some time working on some tourism projects up there. For instance, the Hibiscus Eco Village, where they bring the cruise ship. I and a young man from McKinsey, they call Sexy Bone, we developed that site. It was on the crusher ground. And I also do some work in the Baywash area, the Cicero Waterfalls, which I was developing it on my own, but I had a hard time with even the government and the system. And then we move up to Pocasset at the Jacko Waterfalls. It is one of the top waterfalls now. A lot of people come from overseas and get married there. Hollywood stars, people all the way from Germany. Car tours do that program to get the people here to marry in that waterfalls. And I also do some work with Cobra, which is in Stonefield. That was a big thing up there with Afi. I think an Armstrong on a Sunday they would play jazz, and you would have a big amount of people from the island coming there. One of the things I know about the area there, as everybody's saying, you would not get the amount of stone you want to get there. I think it was a French company who come there in the 80s. They called Beaver, and they burst a big rock that was in front of the bridge. And they bring the material way down Menvinol on the airport site, and they put up a crusher. So one of the things I advise the Prime Minister to do, since as he gets so many love from the people of Atkinson and votes for 30 years, and the president is from up there, he should listen to the people, get our professionals, pay our professionals. The people are not supporting him to help him to carry on those projects. Because if you look at the Japanese who build the fishery, they hire Caribbean contractors from all over the Caribbean, St. Lucia, Trinidad, even Marigot. There was another contractor there, I think Paris. He built all the walls to go in the sea, so he was part of it. And it do 3 months in advance. So what I'm telling the Prime Minister, you have all these young guys in Marigot with Chucks, Belvanson, Gan Abraham, Sons Robin. Get these people. You have people like Tutus have the experience. I told them You will never get all the materials you want up there to build that thing. You must divert. You must go to Collio, and you might get some materials up there, but not all. Even the base of the airport, they should use more of the river stuff to put at the bottom of the airport because of the waterlog. When the company was building the road from the fishery there, they had to put a lot of the river stuff. It's like a sifter, because that area was just soggy. It was just as they were. So I'm telling the Prime Minister, listen to the people. The people are the ones that vote for you. You told the people that you had to guard Mr. Libler because he wanted to build a new market, and he never informed the people of rules.
Your point is to the Prime Minister, listen to the people, huh? That's very significant because we have a lot of other calls coming in there. Let's do this one.
Tupal, but it's shared and we're just under some pressure with the environment impact. So we just come together on hand on this side what's going on. So we get the feedback as the Prime Minister alluded. We're going to pause the quarry or the operation until Monday, until planning and everybody sit down and assess and make sure they get everything right to facilitate this ongoing process. Because if they do not mind the rocks and so, it will have a major cost impact. So we have to go through with the mining and make sure we get everything, dot the T's, cross the I's, and make sure the environmental impact is done properly so the public will be aware and notify as we have our public consultation taking place. We have about 3 or 4 of them took place already. We have one coming up on the 6th. So we're going to inform the public and make sure everything is done right and continue the project.
Are you aware that there any public consultation there going on in the Concord area?
Matt, what's confusing to us? There were 2 meetings in Concord. We were notified that Marigot also had one, and then on Sunday we went to one about Crapple Hall. But every time we go to these meetings, we are threatened to not record the meeting. We can't take pictures of the slides.
So what is transparent about that?
But that's not a public consultation. A public consultation, according to our constitution, we have the right to safely assemble, and we have the right to access to information and share that information in a public meeting. I understand if it's a closed meeting, then okay, things need to stay internal. But this is a public meeting. You should want us to share the information.
And they don't want you to take any recordings.
Any recordings, any photographs, any sort of digital documentation. We can write notes. So they're allowing us to record with pen and paper, and he is also doing the same, the representative of the developer. But every single meeting, he has made it abundantly clear that if we were to do any digital recording, the meeting would cease and he would not come back to meet. But we stand up every time and we say this is our constitutional right to share.
Is that consultation? If you,
that's for him to be able to define. But I also want to make it very, very clear to our fellow Dominicans that you have the right in public consultations to record, to access information and share out that information, and to safely assemble and safely speak out. It's not just our constitution. Dominica last year in April 2024, we ratified what is called the Escazú Agreement. And this agreement, which is national law because we ratified it, gives us the right as members of the public to access any information concerning the environment. It gives us the right for prior consultation, so free, prior, and informed consent. It gives us the right as well to speak up and to safely do so. And they are bound legally. If we are to request these documents, our government is legally bound to provide us with these documents and to allow us the safety to be able to speak out and be acknowledged.
And as far as you're concerned, none of that is happening.
As far as we're concerned, we don't quite even know if we've had public consultations, because again, they're telling us that we cannot record and pass on the information, and the people who we are requesting to attend these public consultations are not showing up.
Right, and also these public consultations, if we follow in what an EIA or ESIA is, an environmental, social, and impact assessment, public consultation is required before the project begins, before the permit can be approved. It shouldn't be
So it's,
happening.
it's back to front then.
Exactly. It shouldn't be happening when there's damage occurring right now, because you're basically doing the impact and saying, like, what do you think about what's going on? It's like, well, shouldn't that happen before?
Yeah. Like, what's the point of our comments? What impact can our comments or our opinions from the community have on the project, our concerns? If you're already doing the damage, what can we then do? What power does our voice have in this situation?
A very interesting discourse there with these two environmentalists, local ecologists. On the telephone, more telephone calls coming in. Are you there? Yes?
Good afternoon, Matt.
Yes, again.
Stonewalling in Stonefield, Matt. That's how I coin it. But Matt, Mr. Skerritt, if you listen to him carefully, he mentioned that he doesn't want people to turn this into and he actually said the word political, and then he changed it. I want you to play that and listen to it carefully, Matt, because although political voices have not faced him, he's still thinking about them as political, although he did back on it and use a different word. So I want you to play it very carefully and listen to it, Matt, where he actually says the word political, that they will stop the project. So, Matt, he's a little bit afraid. He is pushing his luck. He's breaking the law. And I say he's stonewalling, and we have to find a way to get him through the courts, put some kind of an injunction to stop that project and make him follow the law. Now is not the time for environment impact studies. The time for that is way past. You're already mining, and you're talking about now doing impact studies. That's crazy, Matt. Enough said.
Now I don't know where we are.
Somebody says action speaks louder than words there on Facebook. No one listens anymore. Lead daily demonstrations on sites. Stop the destruction that's taking place. There's no power in the voice. That's a Facebook message. Hello, talk to me. Yes?
Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you.
And good afternoon to the two young professionals. I would like to thank them and applaud them for coming out and defend their country in the field that they do. They are not just speaking from their mouth or their head. They are speaking from what they are trained. They are passing on what they were trained. And then if we have people in leadership positions, they're supposed to respect professionals and listen to them to guide them along. Because a politician is not an ecologist. If he didn't go and study ecology or about environment. And you all are not doing anything wrong. You all love your country more than the politicians that want to talk nonsense about stopping project or do like development. It's nothing about that. You all are speaking for care and concern of all your homeland. And you all should be respected and you all should be loved by all Dominicans. Because God didn't give us a spirit of fear. He gave us a spirit of sound mind. So keep on speaking about what you all know best. And don't let nobody intimidate all you. And don't worry, even though they try with their victimization, who God bless, no man curse, because Jehovah always have the final say, and he'll take care of the both of all you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to you. We'll take a break. We'll come right back. Stick around.
This Christmas, we're making your holiday shopping merrier and brighter. From December 1st to December 23rd, 2025, spend $50 or more and get a chance to win $100 gift voucher every week. That's 9 lucky winners in total. 3 winners every Tuesday, December 9th, December 16th, and December 23rd. Drawn live in store and on Facebook. And that's not all. Senior Citizens Wednesdays. If you're 60 and over, enjoy $50 15% off on December 3rd, December 10th, and December 17th. Mark this dates down. Double points Thursday. Shop on December 4th, December 11th, and December 18th and earn double your reward points. Super Sunday, December 14th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Also December 21st, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Massive discounts, 5% off at Isa Trading when you spend $100. 10% off at Isa Trading when you spend $150. 15% off at Isa Trading. Spend $200 or more. Don't miss out at Isa Trading. Shop more, save more, and celebrate more this Christmas. Visit us today at Isa Trading. Make this season merry and rewarding. Only at Isa Trading.
Calypso. Yes, the Calypso season is upon us. Saturday, December 13, 2025 at the factory, Valley Road. Only $20. Seating only $30. And imagine elimination VIP $100. Come here, the beginning of the season, and make sure you're there till the end. Many Calypsonians will be competing. Only 12 gladiators will make it. The grand eliminations for the 2026 Calypso season. Saturday, 13 December 2025. Remember, 8 o'clock at the factory. Come here, the funny songs, the serious songs, political songs, everything. Bring your family, bring your friends, bring your dog and come. Sponsored by Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited, Flo Dominica, Big Edge Financial, DBS Radio, Kyrie FM.
After working hard for many years in London, Goldwyn is now retired and back living in Dominica enjoying his pension. He toujours got smile so we can see the gold teeth and toujours young. I met him coming out of Flosses with the help of some staff carrying different foods, drinks, and meats to his vehicle. Myself too fast to go and ask the man what's up. Is their story start? Après moi fini travail ouais, so le kadimo descend Dominic pour finir la hamwe. I said, Goldwyn, speak in English, don't force it. Then he said, I shop with intelligence, yeah? At Flosses, you get the most reasonable prices for the bag flour, rice, sugar, milk, beers, soft drinks, water, rum, and so much more. Prices and quantities to fit your needs, mate. Because you just come down and want to tell me what I know about Flosses already. That's where I shop. It's not you alone that want to save money but still get the quality goods. That's right. And if you're listening to this ad, go and check out Flosses for yourself. Next to the Roseau Market, you can't miss it.
Now opened on Sunday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
All you where in Roseau, Kimashadis, you can just walk in and order all your chicken parts, wholesale, and even enjoy retail. It's at AC Shillingford, all chicken parts available that you can afford. Fresh breast, and you know breast is the best. Shillingford wings have muscle. After you eat it, you can fly. As for Shillingford chicken drumsticks, even swinging stars just order drumsticks from Shillingford. And for those of you who love Risapul, AC Shillingford keeps your belly full. Buy your chicken wholesale at AC Shillingford. From wings to thighs to drums to breasts to backs to necks, it's available. It's always available and it's affordable. Plus, you've got pork feet, ham and turkey, bull foot, chicken nuggets, pepperoni, all those right seasonings to make your kitchen keep on ticking. Buy your wholesale chicken at AC Shillingford. When you think of chicken, think of AC Shillingford. Always fresh.
Hardware and home improvement, building supplies for you, kitchen appliances, even home decor too. Lumber, lawn, all your garden supplies, plumbing, welding, electrical supplies. Visit Do It Center at the former Jane Asset Hardware location on Goodwill Road. Call us at 255-690.
Somebody says, Matt, you must play this song called Keepers of the Earth. A song for nature.
Keepers of the earth, yes we are. Keepers of the night, land and sea. forest, saving our planet. Keepers of the earth, yes we are. Keepers of the earth, yes we are. Keepers of the night, land and sea. Guarding the forest, saving our planet. Keepers of the earth, yes we are. The ants and the eels need a home to stay. The heroes and rhinoceros. For the Lugia, oh, where we can less afloat. A land with trash and with wasted hands. Keep us on the earth, yeah we are. Keep us on the night, let's see. God in the forest, taking our planet. Keep us on the earth, yes we are. We all need a warmth and the cleanest things. But we need it all when we burn so much fuel. Let's save use mountains and plains and lakes. Plant a tree beside the waste for green. Keep us on the earth, yes we are. Keep us on the night, land and sea. Saving our planet, keep us on the earth, yes we are. All trees, you go green, clean our seas, create a safer earth. More trees, you go green, clean our seas, create a safer earth. Keep us on the earth, yes we are. Keep us on the night, land and sea. Saving our planet, keep us on the earth, yes we are. Keep us on the earth, yes we are. Keep us on the night, land and sea. Guarding the forest, saving our planet, keep us on the earth, yes we are. Yes we are.
This is Operation Save Planet. Stop polluting the environment.
All right, good afternoon, Dominica. We're here. We're here. This is the Talk on the Block. We're speaking to two professionals, ecologists from Dominica. And our focus this afternoon is a mining operation, quote unquote, taking place in the Dewash area. We're having a brutally honest conversation with Ms. Janelle Brisbane and Gary August. Somebody's on the telephone at this time. It's 2:40 in the afternoon. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Yes, good afternoon, Matt. This is Artie Martin.
Good
and
afternoon
I
to you,
wanted
sir. Yes, thank
to
you.
give thanks and praises to Janelle and Gary
Yes.
for carrying on the battle, because their generation are the ones who are now left with the task of protecting and nurturing what's left of Dominica. And I'm happy to have lived long enough to see the next generation carrying the baton forward. So congratulations to you two guys. Just one or two observations. Let's bear in mind that although this campaign is focused for the moment on Debwash and the damage to the catchment area for the Pigwa River and hence for the Kalinago people's main water source, that this would not be happening if there had been proper attention and planning paid to the main project, which is the airport. I challenged the Prime Minister to make public an ESIA report that was handed to him about the site for the international airport. I say that because it appears to me that there's been an interruption of the planning process from the top down, so that if the main project that is driving the search for quarry material is at fault and is itself in violation of the planning laws of Dominica, it means the international airport project is an illegal project. It raises substantial issues about the future licensing of that facility if the international community discovers that it is an illegal project. And it is illegal not just in law, it is illegal in ecological science. Because if you did take full account of an ESIA report, you would have to take account of the impact of the broader footprint, which is where you were going to dump the material that you were excavating from the site, and where you were going to source the material you need to reinforce the site. None of that information appears to be available, which means that the planning permitting process for the airport is at fault and is flawed, as is the planning and permitting process for this Debwash thing, which is related to and driven by the airport project. So we have a much bigger issue on our plate in Dominica than, we seem to realize. And finally, Dominica was declared by somebody, I don't know who, that Dominica was going to be the first climate resilient country in the world. Hey, hooray. But let us look at what's happening. Your climate resilience, as Janelle has pointed out, and Gary points out, is directly related to your management, nurturing, and protection of the items on your land that actually mitigate and reduce negative climate developments. Your land, your soil, which is a great absorber of carbon dioxide, your forest systems, your water systems. So in actual fact, this is a huge hypocrisy that has been revealed. You say you're going to be this first climate resilient country, and it seems to me many steps you've been taking. You know where they're dumping the excavated soil from the airport site, Matt? They're dumping it on wetlands in Cabana area and other areas of land. You know where they're dumping soil from the Debwash thing already? On people's private lands in Concord. Let's be clear. It seems that there is a determined effort to deny future generations of Dominicans the legitimate title of living on a nature island. And that's why Janelle and Gary and hopefully other young professionals will stand up are the ones who have to be now in the front line, and we will be behind and help in any way that we can. And finally, the other professionals in Dominica, my age and younger, are hiding in the bushes. That's not fair to Janelle's generation. That's not fair to Gary's generation. That's not even fair to your own children. Why are the foresters, who are the prime movers or the creators of protected areas in Dominica, why are they silent as a group? Where is the tourism industry, the Hotel and Tourism Association, the Ministry of Tourism? Nature is our product. And you are sitting there silent while the product that you are advertising to the world as being available in Dominica is being destroyed in your very face. That's another level of hypocrisy. So let's be clear. Janelle and Gary represent the exception and are, in fact, exceptional young professionals that we have to not only support, but frankly, we have to be prepared to protect. Because the level of ignorance that seems to be informing national and other level leadership in the country is not going to consider them. They will want to save face while pushing back against genuine efforts at ensuring a future for Dominica. So praises to Janelle, praises to Gary, and all the others. And Kalinago people, rise up.
And let me ask you a question, Arthur. After this big discussion that was held yesterday with all the policymakers in government, do you expect the mining to continue? And if it does, what happens?
You know how to do it. The rest of us will simply have to learn how to follow you. Thank you very much.
I just think I say, learn that question. 449, or listen to that question at all. 44930. Could we still consider Dominica the nature island, given everything that's happening there? Is that a difficult question to answer?
You know, Matt, a lot of people throw that question at me, and I like to throw it back at them and say, if you were to take away the forests of Dominica, if you took away our forests, is there anything left from us as Dominicans, whether it be our policy, our land, our actions, that still proves that we deserve to be the nature island?
No. I agree.
I leave that up to people to decide on that one.
44930959697. Tell us about some of the laws, as we speak, in terms of the laws to protect our environment. Speak to that for us.
Yeah. So actually, there's so many laws.
Yes.
There are a few laws. So again, keep it in mind that we were presented with an inaccurate map, right? But what was good about that first community meeting is that they actually displayed to us the boundaries of the mine that they're trying to establish. So the boundaries that we have been using in our videos came directly from them. We took their boundaries that they showed to the community. So when we say this is going to be the size of Roseau from the bayfront to the stadium to Gardens and back in the heart of Dominica, it was from their own information that we drew that conclusion.
Okay.
They also said that this was going to be 80 acres. When we plotted it, it's twice the size. It's about 160 acres. But even with their inaccurate map, we still proved to them in that meeting that their boundaries are inside the Northern Forest Reserve on multiple fronts. And they are going to take out, I would say, roughly 60, 70 acres of land from the Northern Forest Reserve. So even the encroachment, because we walked the area, there was a team of us to see where they stopped the excavation work so far and where the boundaries of the Northern Forest Reserve are. It's a 15-second walk difference through trees, through trees to get to where we have the Northern Forest Reserve and where the excavation has stopped. So they are already encroaching on our protected lands. And because of that, you have laws like our National Park and Protected Areas and our Forest Act kick in, which forbids activities like this. It forbids any mining operation. It forbids, putting roads in and clear cutting without legal justifiable approval. It also speaks to dumping harmful substances into waterways. So our forest laws, the three laws that govern forestry, all those three laws are being infringed on right now. Then you have our Physical Planning Act, which says that no project especially mining operations, can occur without the approval of physical planning. And mining operations absolutely require, under Schedule 2, they require an environmental, social, and impact assessment. So they are infringing our physical planning law. Then you have the ESCAZU law, which gives us the right to free, prior, and informed content. Yeah, for transparency and accountability. And when we, which we are, requiring this information from them. So even the draft ESIAs that were submitted to planning under ESCAZU, they, upon our request, which we are requesting, they have to provide that to us, because the government, as the holder of this information, even in draft form, they are supposed to share this with us. So we're requesting any information that they have about this area, any MOU, any documentation, any application documentation, topography maps, you name it, the draft ESIAs, whatever they claim to have submitted. We, the community, and the wider community is requesting that information, and they are legally bound, all these agencies, to make that information public. There's also the law, ILO 169.
How long ago you requested that?
Oh, we've been requesting it for months. I mean, the Kalinago Council requested that information since September.
So no response just yet?
No response from any agencies as yet.
That's disrespectful.
Public Works,
then.
Physical Planning, Forestry. So we're calling on all of our colleagues to do the thing that the law binds you to, and to confront the communities and provide us with the necessary information.
All right. On the telephone, are you there, caller? Hello? Caller, are you there? No, you're not. Hello on the telephone. Yes?
Hi.
Sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Thank you for such a wonderful program. I have so much respect for the two individuals that you have on the program today. It definitely gives us hope. We definitely feel hope through these two individuals and this fight. I want to make something clear, because I know ESIA has been thrown around a lot this afternoon and in the past few weeks. But it has to be clearly understood that an ESIA is a document, the cornerstone of such a project. But it's not just the ESIA. The ESIA can be produced and be a lovely document, but if you don't have the protection officers that ensure that the ESIA is carried out and followed to its fullest, then it's just a pretty document. Okay, so establishing an ESIA is very important, yes, but a plan, a management plan, an ESMP, comes out of that document to ensure that everything that's in this ESIA is carried out as stipulated. Okay, and in that plan, there's also a budget for things that are necessary to put in the mitigating things that are required. So having just the plan, simply having just the plan, is not sufficient. You need the individuals to buy in to the whole project. You need the protection officers on both sides, not just on the contractor and the developer side. You need the same person or a similar person, similar qualifications on the side of the state, on the side of the client, on the side of the people of Dominica, to ensure that the developers and the contractors are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Right? So I just wanted to bring some clarification to this ESIA and what has to come out of it in order for this to make any sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Nasio, living in the positive, huh? This one there, 449309599.
Even through my darkest night, fear not terrors on my side.
Good afternoon to Mr. Jerry Brisbane. I know you're locked in.
Even though the roots are on your side, fear not, though my chances are slim. Your tomorrows are so high. living in the positive. And I know good, we conquer evil. Jerry's amidst the battle. And I know love, we overcome it. Living in the positive. What you say? Let not your hearts be troubled. Why away your tears and fears? Cause I know love, we conquer evil. Love. Even when my burden gets heavy to carry, sorrows become my best friend. Let no one let me be. Even when 10,000 foes set themselves against side, who said that my chances are slim? Here to my hopes are side. Living in the positive, and I know good, we conquer evil. Jerry's here amidst the battle, and I know love, we overcome it. Wonder, living in the positive. Let not your hearts be troubled. Wipe away your tears and fears. Cause I know love, we conquer evil. We're living in the positive. Oh, when we're living in the positive. From day to day, John make our way. We're living in the
It's 2:57 in the afternoon, of course. We have a few more minutes. Well, take a few phone calls and, of course, get our panel to wrap up. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
And good afternoon to the young lady and to the young man.
Yeah.
Matt, the information these two young people are giving out now is so important. I was privileged to be at a meeting with them a few days ago. And the presenter, when these two young people started putting questions and bringing certain things towards him, he was very arrogant. And to be honest, their information had more substance than his information that he was trying to bring across. Because from what I am seeing or what I gathered, the young man is representing the contractor. He is still representing the government. He is still representing the the people that in charge of the airport. And when we have to really listen and go back, taking into consideration that the statement the Prime Minister made, that is a threat to Dominicans, and we have to take it very serious because this is a desperate move when he made that statement. And we are not going to sit there, and we shall not sit there and allow this to happen. We need to send a message across, and the other people of the country needs to come on board. Who has not been on board as yet needs to come on board now so that we can actually see. But since I was a small boy growing up, I heard my father saying that he worked with a company up there and they got copper there. So this is telling me there is no stones there. Because you cannot tell me you're testing for stones and you're digging so deep and you're still not getting anything, and you're still telling me to that magnitude of work that is going on there is a test in procedure. We need to stand up, and Dominica need to stand up and stop this nonsense right now. Thank you very much, and I want to congratulate the young man and the young lady. Keep on doing the good works that you are doing. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Now, some people have called for some action, protest action, whatever. What is your solution in terms of the action that they're talking about as young professionals?
Well-
how far are you guys willing to go to stop this?
Matt, we're taking this in phases, right? Trying to learn from past actions that have happened in Dominica, but also some of the youth movements that are happening now and the approach that young people are taking. And so we're trying to tackle this with a three-prong approach with science, factual information, and getting that out there to, the communities and to the public through an outreach campaign, and also through a legal approach. So these are the three approaches, but what we're also going to do and what we would like to advertise to everyone listening is that on Monday evening at 5 p.m., we are going to gather for for an evening of education and celebration at the Barana Ute to be able to talk to anyone in the community with concerns, to just gather to celebrate our common ancestor and our common pride and vision for this country. We would have multiple presentations there. Activists from the time when mining was there in the 90s, so that the proposal for the mine, and including Gary and myself with the information we've gathered. We will have celebration. There would be performances. Sorry, that's the word. Performances by a variety of groups and individuals. So we're calling on everyone who would like to continue this conversation, express their concerns, and gather to just celebrate who we are and the way forward. We're calling on everyone to join us at the Barana Ute this coming Monday at 5 p.m.
What time is that?
5 p.m. on Monday.
Now, we've heard that the government has just put a halt for a few, I think since Friday, they put a halt to that project there. So tell me, what do you expect? What do you expect coming from this meeting? Do you expect a halt? I mean, just tell me. Talk to me.
I don't expect a halt. They're pretty determined to...
They're determined. What they're looking for, because the rocks are not there, from what I gather.
Yeah, well, the last meeting we were at Marigot, the engineer made it pretty clear that they're never going to stop.
They're never going to stop.
They're going to blow the mountain to smithereens and remove all the material that they could get from it. He was pretty clear about that.
That's a direct quote, Matt. He literally said the representative for Montreal management at that meeting told us they are going to blow the mountain to smithereens and harvest every last little piece of stone. He told that to us. And I challenge them to come out and tell us elsewise. That is a direct quote from the representative of the developer when we were talking about, because he said he hopes we celebrate when the river cleans up itself, and we told him we are going to celebrate when the mountain stops coming down. So his response is, sister, that mountain, we are going to blow it to smithereens and harvest every last little piece of stone. So,
and he didn't just say it like a sentence. He said it with like malice in his voice, and he was laughing.
Yeah,
he was laughing, saying that we can't stop him. We can't stop the project. The petition that's out there is not going to do anything. In fact, the petition, I'm looking at the numbers right now. It's 3,845 people have signed that petition as of late. And at the petition, you have all the information summarized in what's going on.
And you're very sure he said that, word for word?
I am
We're very sure.
1,000% positive that is what he said. The mountain is going to be blown to smithereens and they are going to harvest every last piece of stone.
Fear not, how my chances are slim. Your tomorrows are so high. Bringing the positive. And I know good, we conquer evil.
So as you said, indicated there's no intention to stop even after this big meeting held on Monday.
No, despite it infringing on so many laws, despite it infringing on our human right, because we have to understand as Dominicans, it is a basic human right for clean environment, clean air, clean water, access to food. These are all basic human rights that they are infringing on right now.
Exactly. And as Janelle saying about basic human rights, we have a right for clean water. And in Concord, in the part of Concord called Lagley, there are people who live across the river. If people are familiar with the area, you know there's a water bridge that drives through the river and you get to that community. There are people there who have access to Dowasco, some who don't. Those who have access to Dowasco all the time, they don't have water. Sometimes there's 3-5 days no water. Okay. But the people did not, it didn't bother them too much because the river is right there. They could use it for their washing. They could use it for all their needs. But right now, the river is not usable. And so now there are people who have come up to me and said that, boy, 5 days water go and I can't even go in the river and bathe. They have to find another place to get water. And so these are concerns coming from the public. If there was proper consultation, maybe there could have been things put in place so in case the river does get to that point of you can't use it anymore, these people won't be affected to that degree.
Overcome it. Living in the positive, yeah. Let not your hearts be troubled. Wipe away your tears and fears. Cause I know.
We're going to take our final break and then we'll come back to close up. This time, stick around.
Creole Habit in collaboration with title partners TBS Radio, Big Edge Financial Express, the Dominican Lotteries Commission, Going Global Entertainment, and the Sign present the 2025 Dominican Music Awards, Saturday, January 3rd, 2026 at the Intercontinental Hotel, 6 p.m. The Royal Red Carpet entrance. Other partners include the Signman Calypso Artist of the Year, Texia New Artist of the Year, ACS New India Assurance, Calypso Artist of the Year, Nature Island Press Production, Gospel Artist of the Year, Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited, Band of the Year, Do It Center, Social Media Influencer of the Year, the Republic Bank, Photographer of the Year, Q95 FM, Platinum Partner, honorary supporters, Rainbow Hilvilla, and then Sarah, Rovina, Lori Lee, and Glenn Tedemack, and more. Be part of the greatest national celebration of Dominican artistry, heritage, and the strength of our creative economy as we honor excellence across all genres and recognize the cultural contributions of our artists, musicians, and musical technocrats. Support the Creole Habit in the 2025 Dominican Music Awards by joining our esteemed partners list and contact us at 616-3457 or creolehabit@gmail.com. The 2025 Dominican Music Awards, January 3, 2026, Intercontinental Hotel. Together, we can create a world-class award celebration that inspires pride, empowers creatives, showcases the beauty of our culture, and reinforces Dominica's cultural identity and creative economy.
We thank thee each morning for a newborn day.
Rise and shine. Tis the season for giving and winning at ESA Trading Limited. This Christmas, we're making your holiday shopping merrier and brighter. From December 1st to December 23rd, 2025, spend $50 or more and get a chance to win $100 gift voucher every week. That's 9 lucky winners in total. 3 winners every Tuesday, December 9th. December 16th and December 23rd. Drawn live in-store and on Facebook. And that's not all. Senior Citizens Wednesdays. If you're 60 and over, enjoy 15% off on December 3rd, December 10th, and December 17th. Mark this dates down. Double Points Thursday. Shop on December 4th, December 11th, and December 18th and earn double your reward points. Super Sunday, December 14th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Also December 21st, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Massive discounts, 5% off at ESA Trading when you spend $100. 10% off at ESA Trading when you spend $150. 15% off at ASAP Trading. Spend $200 or more. Don't miss out on ASAP Trading. Shop more.
We're coming to the end.
Yeah. When I look around the world, what do I see? I see footprints that man have left on the sand by walking through time. I see shapes of our ambition, figments of our imagination, and I ask myself, when will it end? When will it end? It is plain to see. Universally, this land is not bountiful as it was. Simply because, in this quest for success, nothing stands in my way. Oh, if I survive, shrine, soon the bird won't fly, the mountains will be no longer high. And when I really think of it, yes, I just wonder why.
And the birds will no longer fly. I see.
I see charity deployed, when right totally ignored. Wisdom and ingenuity walking in accord, simply to afford. The inventions as to nuclear warfare and environmental warfare. And I wonder now, where do we go from here? And it's everywhere. Gaze upon the horizon, and the cloud of judgment will come. And the savage hands of unscrupulous men defile everything pass by. Time is running out as we eat and drink species at the brink of the next thing, yeah. And I think no one can deny that the price of progress is high.
The price of progress is high. I'm sure both Janelle and Gary was not born when this song was written there many years ago. Telling to the speaking to the issues we are facing at this time. Janelle, and of course Gary, as we go, what would you want to advise, if you could advise government at this time to do with this project?
Well, again, we are not trying to stop the airport project, and we want to make that very clear. What we're saying is that there are other areas in Dominica, including our quarries on the West Coast, where they can source the material from that has been tested. They're on international levels. They're being used in other projects around Dominica. So please, to save their investment and to use what is already known, what is already tested for this airport project, and to leave the area of Daywash alone. It's a protected site for a reason. It was protected because it's so biodiverse rich, right? And it protects so many headwaters for so many rivers that Dominicans rely on in the west and the east. So let's not go into this area. Let's not impact our communities in this way. And what we would really, really love for them to come out and do is to just be transparent and be accountable. If it were an individual or private sector, we would be honing down on them, we would be stopping them, and we would be demanding the information the same way. Everyone, no matter if you're public or you're private, deserves to provide the people with the necessary information that we are calling for. And so we are just simply asking them to please come out and give us this information. We will be very happy to be disproved, right? Like, please prove us wrong. Please prove us wrong. Please prove our concerns wrong, that we have nothing to be concerned about. But for that to happen, we need to see the evidence, because like we said in the meetings, there were so many inaccurate things and so many false statements that were made in those meetings and threats made, that we need to see the hard evidence for us to believe what is really happening here. And we have called for this hard evidence, and we're just asking all the regulatory agencies to please come out. The government is for the people. The government is for the people, and the people are asking for transparency. And we think, I mean, maybe we are naive because of our age, but we think that should be something that's very easy to do if it is true.
Oh, Gary?
Yeah, I really love how Janelle summarized it. Another thing I think I forgot to mention was that we brought up the Escazú Agreement early in the conversation. We're familiar with the Escazú Agreement because of our field and where we've worked with and different agencies. I'm very involved with a lot of youth environmental stuff, and I'm pretty familiar with Escazú Agreement. And at that meeting, our environmental engineer for this project, who has run multiple quarries, quoting him, was not aware of what the Escazú Agreement is.
He's not aware.
He had no idea what
And
the
he calls
Escazú
himself
Agreement was.
an environmental engineer.
Exactly. So we had to explain it to him, and while we're trying to explain to him, he's like, Escazú, Escaboo, what are you talking about? We're like, at the Escazú Agreement, which was ratified last year in 2024. And he tried to explain and tried to tell the crowd that these international treaties do not apply to Dominica.
Really?
Even though it was ratified. So I guess to wrap it up, it's our country, it's our environment, it's our forests that have been affected, it's our rivers that have been affected, and we deserve these answers. And it's through Escazú, which was ratified last year, that we can get these answers. And I don't think we could call ourselves the Nature Isle much longer if we keep neglecting these things and destroying our natural environment. Because from a tourism perspective, I've met a lot of people who come from the airport, because taxi drivers are also calling me like, what is going on? Because when they pick up people at the airport, they can't explain why is this forest getting destroyed there. Because it's clear for everyone to see, the roads are filthy, they get in potholes. All these huge trucks on the road is also another concern we even bring up, because people are fearful of these trucks. They're speeding. These speed bumps don't even work for them. They only work for the smaller vehicles, because the truck just run, bloop, and they're on their way. And sometimes they don't even horn. And people are concerned about that. People are concerned about the dust. People are concerned about the blasting that's going to happen for their homes. And all these things should have been factored into an ESIA before the project started. So we're just asking for answers. We want transparency and we want accountability.
Well, if you had to give word, you say halt it altogether.
Well, we're not the airport. Let's make that very clear.
Yeah.
Gary and I travel a lot, and we love the idea of an airport.
Right.
To be able to go out and do the work that we have to do. So we're not saying halt the airport at all. We're saying do what you have to do with the airport, but be very, very careful with how you cannot be developing and harming the people at the same time. And also, we're doing this airport to be able to expand our tourism industry and our trade markets. But if you are taking out the very product that is allowing people to come here and allowing us to earn from this, then what's the point of an international airport if you're just going to bulldoze through the nature island, right? We're just simply asking for this accountability. We're simply asking for them to stop mining in Daybosh, because even if they were to continue, it's illegal in the first place. But the airport project is so far along. Again, they had that document which stated alternative locations for Crapo Hall, and Daybosh was never considered. Daybosh was never considered for the airport. And I mean, if that is inaccurate to say, we would love to see the evidence that says.
Give me the timeline in terms of when Daybosh was considered. Do you know when?
April of 2025 is when they visited the site.
April
of this year is when they first went to Daybosh to assess the area and do the land handover, according to the developers. That's what they said in all the community meetings.
Let's take a phone call there before people don't want to go. Are you there, caller? Yes.
Yeah, Matt.
Yes, please.
Matt, I travel that road quite often, and I was probably one of the first ones who called you and told you, Matt, they're gonna mine in that area, because we saw the Chinese looking at that big rock right after you crossed the Pegua Bridge, and then later on they brought an excavator there and they scratched it, took some samples, and then everything started after that. But Matt, case in point. Saturday, we're moving a large number of people from the airport to town. The Chinese, one of their trucks went down on the Central Forest Reserve side, went down a very steep part. We saw the crane going up, but we didn't really connect where it was going to. We're coming from the airport, And just before we get to Debonche, somebody calls us and tells us, turn around. The Chinese have blocked the road. Matt, if you're going to do something like that to pull one of your trucks out, I understand it. Put somebody at Pegwood Junction to divert you to the Kalinago territory. Nothing. We had to go all the way back and go through the Kalinago territory. People who started their day at 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, there's a very inconsiderate kind of attitude about the whole thing, where the people of Dominica are not considered in the whole affair. There's an attitude, Matt, that pervades the whole thing. And Matt, honestly, I'll say it again. Take him to court. That's the only way we're going to stop him, because he's a Donald Trump. He's extended his authority. And people, remember this. Do not vote for governments that treat you like second class. You're the citizen. You're the first class one to be treated. Do not vote for him who represents the head of the state or the broomsticks that he puts in those various constituencies.
Let's take a phone call. Hello, talk to me. Hello, yes? Somebody's trying to call from overseas for a little while there, but we're not getting through. Sorry about that, sir. Sorry.
And I ask if this is progress, Lord, how long would it last? How long would it last?
It was a pleasure. I'll try my very best to make that meeting on Monday, you said? Monday?
On Monday at
after.
5 p.m.
And we invite everyone who wants to know more. It's very open to everybody.
Gina Brisbane and Gary August. The pleasure was mine. Come
Thank
back
you,
sometime
Matt.
soon,
Yes.
okay?
And thank you, everyone, for listening.
Yeah, and big thank you to all the people who have been supporting us behind the scenes. And we see you guys supporting in the comments, see you guys supporting in the petition. Don't say a big thank you to everybody. We don't want this to continue, and we
Exactly
appreciate
what the
everybody.
petition, I've seen it, but others who may want to participate, how can you connect? How can you connect with them?
What do you mean? How can
The
you find the petition?
Yes, that's what I meant.
So the petition is on change.org, and it's called International Petition to Halt the Debonche Mine. So the petition website as well also gives you a lot of information as to what is happening at Debonche. It has the footage, there's a lot of photos to show you before and after scenes of the site and what the current progress is with the mine. And it also allows people to register their email addresses so that we can be
Forward
in
more
contact.
information?
Yeah,
Right,
forward more information as things go along. We can keep them informed as well.
Yeah, and also the website has the option of you could sign it anonymously. If
Mhm.
you don't feel like you want to see your
Your
name
name.
on it, you could still sign it with your email, but we have no idea who you are if you sign in anonymously.
Now, let's take a phone call. His phones keep ringing there. I guess they don't want you to go. Hello, talk to me, yes.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you,
You
sir.
and your guest.
Yes.
These people know there doesn't have stone, but they learned of the copper. And that is what they go in behind. So we in Dominica have to stand up to them and make them know that cannot happen.
Okay, well, that's the last point. They know there's copper. And I suspect you strongly believe there's copper based on the information that you have gathered there.
Well, it was proven.
There is copper there.
It was proven that there is copper there. As to whether that is what they are trying to do is what we are asking them to clarify. We have actually asked the developer in the community meetings to provide us with a letter stating that is not their intent at all, that they are not going after copper, they're not going after gold, and that, the government is promising in writing that after they are to mine there for stone, if they're really mining for aggregate, that they would not use the excuse of the site being decimated to continue any further, to go down any deeper for copper and gold. We're still waiting for
how
that
much
letter.
further you would have to go to get that copper? Have you?
Well, it depends. It depends on the findings. It depends on the depth. I know initially in the 90s, they were believing on going like 1,000.
Over 1,000 feet deep.
Over 1,000 feet deep is what their initial concept was for the site.
Folks, again, if we had to continue, we'll never stop now, huh?
Right.
But thank you again, both Janelle and Gary. I hope I see you soon. Continue
Thank
to
you.
educate the people of Dominica. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mom.
Appreciate
Thank
sharing your space.
All right.
And then I really think of it, then I just wonder why. I see charity deployed when right totally ignored. Wisdom and ingenuity, what we did not for. Send me people